Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe. And yeah guys, we are trying to hit 50,000 subscribers until the end of the year, so help me out there and let's get going. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the nations that are in a dire need of new top tier aircraft. You know, I already did some videos talking a little bit about that and what I think it's going to come to War Thunder. But I wanted to just make a video talking a little bit about aircraft that, about nations that are just lacking a little bit, and the balance kind of might be kind of weird right now, due to that. So yeah, there's many nations. Obviously, we got a very good patch, last patch, I must admit. It should have been a tiny little bit better, but it was pretty alright. I think adding the F-16As like they did really helped them actually being kinda balanced. I mean, there is a problem of the amount of NATO aircraft flying around. So if you are flying the MiG-29, you're probably going to face a lot of NATO aircraft, right? But still, with the mixed battles, I mean, matchmaking doesn't matter too much. So yeah, the F-16 was a very good addition, because not only you can add it for the US, but you can also add it for a lot of nations. China, Italy, Israel all got new 4th generation aircraft, right? The USSR got the MiG-29, and yeah, we had the Tornadoes, but I wouldn't count on that. They are pretty bad at dogfighting and being an air-to-air combat, obviously, right? So I would just say that there are some aircraft that needed to be added, because it wouldn't be that much of a change, or I don't know, it would just make sense before, but also looking into the future, what we can actually expect, not expect, but what we should need, what we need to have in the game to actually be able to all the nations have the 4th generation. I forgot to mention, obviously, the French with the Mirage 2000C as well, and Swedish with the JE37D. They're pretty alright at its PR. I know a lot of people want the Gripen, but we kind of don't need it yet. I think it's some kind of a more 4+ generation aircraft. It's a 90s aircraft, so I wouldn't count on the Gripen as well. Okay, guys? So the vegan is already plenty, to be honest. But there are, I think, 2 aircraft that are desperately needed, and then we're going to talk a little bit about a third one that we can see, but we will probably not see in the near future. First things first, aircraft that we already have in game, the MiG-29. Obviously, one of the nations that is in the most dire situation in the sense of top tier aircraft is Germany. Germany got 2 Tornadoes, but it is just the idea, so it really lacks. And it has the MiG-23 MLA. Don't get me wrong, the MLA is amazing. The R-60Ms now with it and the R-24 are just amazing. This aircraft it's a sweet one to fly. But it has 2 problems. Obviously, the BR of the MLA is kind of weird. It should be 11.7. Just like in the MLD should be 11.7, and just with remember the Mirage 2000C also needs to be 11.7. There is no reasonable reason that these aircraft are 11.3, just doesn't make sense. But yeah, the MLA, it is a 3rd generation aircraft. It is still lacking in the dogfighting capabilities. You really need to get lucky and be a very good pilot to actually beat any of the new 4th generation aircraft in it. It is lacking a lot in that sense. So it is an aircraft that you can be caught off guard and just die, basically. It is a problematic situation in that sense. And obviously, I think the main aircraft that we always thought about is the MiG-29A, or not A, actually, doesn't exist A. The MiG-29 912A, which is the export version of the 912 variant of the MiG-29. We have the 913 version on the Soviet Tech 3, which has a little bit more fuel and internal ECM in real life. And yeah, it will have some problems, the 912A for the Germans. it will have a less capable radar in theory. Probably in the game it will be the same, since the MLA and MLD has the same radar. That it should be a little bit different, but in game it's the same. So we can expect the MiG-29, 912A and the 913 having the same radar. But the main thing is, of course, it has less fuel, as I said, but also the armament. So I never confirmed that they actually used the R-73, but I mean, I think it did, right? The R-73 is probably just a sender. I mean, when the Germans actually got the MiG-29, it was already late 80s, and the R-73M was already in production, so in the Soviet Union. So the normal R-73 is probably in the arsenal. But the main thing is the BVR weaponry. So he never got to actually fire the E variants of the R-27. He never got to use the R-77, and he never got to use the R-27T. Even though it's a misconception, the 912A from like a Soviet factory stand of view, right? He was able to carry the R-27T. This is real life, he could. But the Germans never used it. It is not even in their manual. So it is probably not going to have it. The R-27Es and the Ts as well. So we might only see R-60Ms and the R-27R, or even the R-73 and the R-27R. So even though it is a MiG-29, it will be lacking on the weapon capabilities. Just mind that if you're planning to grind the Germans for that. Another aircraft, obviously, it is the Tornado ADV. It's the air defense variant for the British. The Italians also can have it, but the British are in the most dire need. It is an interceptor. It won't be able to dogfight pretty well. It is going to be a tough aircraft to fight, don't get me wrong. But the radar, it is a pretty good radar. And if they add the Skyflash Super Temp, which is the modified version from the original Temp version of the Tornado-capable Skyflash, it has a better engine, an engine similar to the M7F and M, with a sustainer and a booster, right? So that would help the British actually be very good in the BVR department. Together with the A9L or M or whatever they're going to add, it is going to be a very interesting aircraft. Don't get me wrong, it is going to be a difficult aircraft to fly. It is not going to be able to turn, it is not going to be that fast, it is just having normal Tornado engines, doesn't have a more powerful engine or anything like that. The main feature of it will be the missiles together with the radar. The Fox Hunter radar is an amazing radar, and you should use it as a BVR weapon. That's the main thing, right? And the third thing, and the last aircraft that I think it's these three nations that are in the most dire need. It is Japan, obviously. Japan didn't even get anything, and it cannot get anything for a while. There are some rumors of actually receiving the XF2, a prototype version of the F2, the Mitsubishi, which is basically a version of the F-16C made in Japan with various modifications, including wings and engines and radars. It has the IASA radar. It can also use the F-15J, right? But that's the thing, it cannot receive anything that it's too strong right now. So I would count the F2 and the Mitsubishi, the F-15J, out of the question right now. So the only thing that we can actually get for Japan is better missiles for the EJ Kai. And it's going to be for a while, in my opinion here. It might be completely wrong. We might see a prototype, as I said, but still, of the F2, but still it is problematic. It is limited, and we barely has anything. But I can guarantee to you guys, in my opinion, that during this year, until the end of the year, we might see the F-15 coming to the game, the Su-27 and more 4th generation aircraft. We are probably going to see that, even if it's the last patch of the year, but I think during this year we will see those things. And if the first F-15 ever comes, they will already add it for Japan, probably from the get-go. So don't you worry, Japan is a very limited line. It doesn't have a lot of things to be added. I already did some videos covering that. But once we get the maybe more advanced aircraft that we can see the F2 or the F-15 being added to the game, Japan will be one of the first ones probably to get it. So yeah, but still, these are the three nations that are suffering, quote unquote, the most right now due to the lack of fourth generation aircraft. Don't get me wrong, the UK is the worst one. The UK is really lacking right now. DJI can hold its ground. It has the F-16 Raider, the AIM-7F, the AIM-9L, it's pretty alright. The MiG-23 MLA is pretty amazing, especially at 11.3. R24 and R60Ms are plenty for it. So yeah, it can be added, but I think the UK is the one that it's in the most dire need of new aircraft. It really doesn't have anything. The Harrier 7, it is pretty fun to fly, but it is very limited in its own way, right? And the Tornado is just it's just Tornado IDS, right? And the Phantoms, I mean, it's just an APG-59 with normal sky flashes and A9Gs. It is very limited. So yeah, hopefully we see the Tornado ADV for at least having something until we can actually see a 4+ generation like the Eurofighter Typhoon in the far future, right? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there are any other aircraft that you think it's needed in the game for any nation. And I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye guys. See you.